Good evening. It's just about 6:30 here on the East Coast. I'm going to play another game here of Immaculate Grid. Doing pretty well the last couple days. I slipped up, I guess it was 3 days ago, but have gone with Rarity scores of 10 and 11. So trying to match or surpass that. On that note, I came across an account when I was just scrolling on Twitter. Yeah, Jessica Lang, I think it's at Jessica D Lang. I'll link to her account in the description here. But she plays this game every day and dominates. She'll post her score and it's constantly. She's a researcher, I think, um for MLB Network and NHL Network, if I'm remembering that right. And but I mean, just every time it's always sub 20 and sometimes, in fact, very often sub 10. So the thing that I've been really shooting for, she knocks it out of the park. But very fun follow on Twitter. I want to give her a shout out. She gave me permission for that. And then secondly, I wanted to say that this episode is brought to you by, I've got a sponsor. No, it's my own book. It's I published self-published book on Amazon. The title is Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities. That's why I've named the channel Frivolous Baseball. But if I'll have a link in the description, and if you enjoy this kind of just random banter about the great sport of baseball, please feel free to check it out. I'd greatly appreciate it. But with all that being said, I'm going to start sharing my screen and playing some Immaculate Grid here, which requires me to find it. There it is. All right. This is yesterday's. I've just been doing a refresh. I've managed to stay off Twitter all day because I have a job. So I wasn't really able to check in on things. This is a fun one. All right. So we got Cy Young, 3,000 strikeouts in a career pitching. That'll be interesting. We'll see if we can find the most obscure one for that. And we've got Boston, Cleveland, Chicago Cubs, and Minnesota Twins. I'm gonna hit these awards first. 'Cause I just think that's the simplest way of doing it. Cubs have a few. Jake Arrieta, who I think is gonna take the lion's share of the votes just because he's the most recent. I think next after Arrieta is going to be Greg Maddux. He won his first Cy Young Award as a Chicago Cub before going to Atlanta and winning his next three. So he won four Cy Youngs in a row, 92 to 95, one with Chicago, next three with Atlanta. I think people are going to get that. And Maddux has his number retired by the Chicago Cubs. Rick Sutcliffe. This is an interesting one. Rick Sutcliffe won the 1984 Cy Young Award. It was actually split, so he'll work here too. But it was split in between Chicago and Cleveland. And so he started the year, wasn't very good with Cleveland, but was traded to Chicago. Really, if you're just looking at the NL only, because obviously Cleveland, the American League, Chicago, and the National League, if you're looking at the NL only, he only made 20 starts, and rookie Dwight Gooden had a much better year. But especially if you're looking at just the National League. But Suter kind of got the best of both worlds. He pitched a full season, so like his man card was intact or whatever. But also he won 20 games. But also he all that pesky American League stuff was in the past. He went to like 16-1 with the Chicago Cubs. So I think that'd be an interesting one. Um, and then Bruce Suter. I'd have to. I'm second guessing myself a little bit, but I'm pretty sure Ferguson Jenkins never won the Cy Young Award. Pretty sure on that. A lot of like several seasons that were right there could have won it, but I'm gonna go with Suter, partially to keep Sutcliffe open for this one in case I don't come up with a better one. But also I think that'll actually be it'll be interesting to see which one gets fewer between Suter and Sutcliffe. All right, Suter takes 2%. He's pictured a Cardinals cap, so that's interesting. All right, and then for the Cy Young Award for the Twins, I think now let me think about this. You got Johan Santana twice in 04 and 06, Frank Viola in 1988. Is that it? I'm just kind of going through Twins. Blyleven never won it as a Twin. Um, and there weren't any like Washington Senators. Like the Senators would work for this, but the Cy Young Award originated in 1956, I think. So I don't think there's any Senators who would have won that, and I can't think of any Minnesota Twins in the 1960s who won it. Kind of thinking of the 70s, but I mean Blyleven was their ace, so I think it's just Santana and Viola. Unless I'm really missing someone. So I'm gonna go with Frank Viola. But that'll probably be a big percentage because if there's only a couple. Yeah, 10%. So I mean I think Santana has the other 90. All right, let's see here. Hopping around. This is kind of yeah, some interesting combinations. Boston, Chicago. My mind goes straight to Nomar Garciaparra. Straight in the middle. I think a lot of people are going to make that association. John Lester, another good option. Was on that 2016 championship team with the Cubs and the I think 2013 champion team. I don't know if he was on the '07 champion Boston team. Let's see. Cubs and Guardians. I mean, I could go Sutcliffe. I'm gonna keep that open just in case I think of someone. These are like a lot of these aren't. These are really jumping out with good ones. Ortiz would work here. David Ortiz. I think a lot of people are going to say that though. Let's see. So 3,000 strikeouts in a career pitching, just someone who existed in a Boston uniform for any amount of time, right? So Boston Red Sox uniform for any amount of time. So Roger Clemens works. Nolan Ryan does not. Steve Carlton does not. Ooh. I don't think people are going to get this one. Yeah. Or does he also work here though? Yeah, because he played with the Twins, like the Indians and the Twins, I think, in his last season. 0.5%. That's a four-time Cy Young winner that I was able to get with that one. I'm pretty happy with 0.5%. I think he was teammates with Farrell there, so but I missed my opportunity here to use him for Cleveland. Blyleven also works. Blyleven played a little bit in Cleveland. Um, there's some other folks. I think I'm just gonna go with Blyleven for this one. 5%. All right. And then ditto, but anybody who played for the Boston Red Sox. What about Tom Seaver? He played a little bit of that night. He was on that 86 team, that last season there, 86. He was on that Boston Red Sox team. He didn't play in the postseason though. I think he has 3,000. So there we go. 1%. Got a pretty good rotation going here. Blyleven, Seaver, Carlton all in the Hall of Fame. Viola is my number 4 starter, and then Suter over here in the bullpen. This team's gonna rock. I just need any person who's won the Cy Young Award and gotten 3,000 or more strikeouts. So I'm gonna come back to that one. I want to try to think about who might be the most obscure. Oh, let's see. I thought I had someone for this. I got another bullpen arm. Jeff Reardon played for both teams, 0.6%. All these guys, I mean, both these guys saved over 300 games. So it's doing all right here. Obviously this won't be as low as my other ones because Viola by himself takes 10%, but I think it was just him and Santana. I might be kicking myself. There was some in the 70s that I just didn't know about, but I think that's right. Yeah, Boston, Chicago, then Cleveland and Chicago. See how Nomar Garciaparra would work and John Lester would work, but I think they're both going to be double digits. And then, like I said, Rick Sutcliffe will work here, and then I have a pretty good 5 starter. But now I think about it, I think actually going to be pretty safe. Actually, yeah. This is actually this is a theme show. I won't have any batters because I'm going to go Rick Sutcliffe here, 3%. Pretty good. I might have been able to do a little bit better, but that's all right. And then for Boston, Chicago, Eckersley played for both teams, 1%. So I've got, and I mean, I'm down to the last one here, and there's I think several options. Smoltz would work, Maddox would work. Both had 3,000 strikeouts. Yeah, Nolan Ryan did not win a Cy Young award. Steve Carlton's already on there. Randy Johnson won several Cy Young awards. I think a lot of people are going to say him. Roger Clemens won 7 Cy Young awards. So between them, 12 Cy Young awards and 3,000 strikeouts. Pedro Martinez, 3 Cy Young awards, 3,000 strikeouts. I'm very sure, even though he had a shorter career, I'm very confident in him having 3,000 strikeouts. Let's see. And then that leaves, what if Drysdale had 3,000 strikeouts? I'm actually not sure on that one. Blyleven never won a Cy Young award. Also, I've already used him. I think I'm gonna go John Smoltz. I think that's just he only won the one Cy Young award. I don't know if everyone's gonna remember that. I think he got to 3,000 strikeouts, but he didn't like blow it out of the water. So he's on TV all the time, but 2%. All right. So rarity score of 26, but 10 of those coming with Frank Viola. Not a lot I could have done about that. So I'm feeling okay about that. Because that's 16 without Viola, so 2 per. It's not spectacular, but it's better than I was doing my first couple days doing this on video. Let's check the stats. The baseball world as a whole has done pretty well here. 50% is the lowest here, so not a lot of yeah. I guess Cleveland in general was a struggle here to come up with. Sabathia got to 3,000, and he would have worked here. He would have worked for Cy Young and this. I guess I didn't internalize that Sabathia had 3,000 strikeouts, but I totally believe it. Got a bobblehead of Sabathia over there with the Brewers, of course. Let's see, Pedro. Yep. Yep. Ortiz. He was cut straight up DFA'd by Minnesota, released whatever it was in 2002. Just like resurrect his career. So Lester takes the most, 25%. So Garcia Parra was probably next, I think. That's what I would think. Kepnes, I kind of knew about that. He actually grew up a Cubs fan. I think it's and then he played against them in the World Series. Tomei played that big season in Minnesota in 2010. Forgot about that one. And then yeah, Arrieta's the most recent, almost half right there. Santana taking 88%, Viola taking if Viola's at 10% and Santana's at 88%, there's somewhat 2% that I just didn't know about. So I'm gonna look it up. I'll because now I'm kicking myself if it's an obscure baseball person from years past, I should have come up with them, but I didn't. So anyway, this was fun. If you like this kind of just random musings about baseball, which is kind of what I do here, then check out my book, Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities. It's on Amazon, both Kindle and paperback. You can check that out. I'll have the link in the description. And enjoy the Home Run Derby. It starts here in just over an hour here. So appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.